They told you it was just a phase, that masturbation didn't matter anymore once you passed a certain age. But here's the truth. The moment you stop touching your body with awareness, it starts slipping away energy, confidence, even your sense of being alive. I'm Dr. Evelyn Hart, men's health specialist with over 30 years of experience helping men over 60 reclaim their vitality. Today, I'll show you the masturbation secrets no one ever taught you, because done right, self-touch can boost testosterone, protect your prostate, and reconnect you to who you are. So ask yourself, have you been slowly teaching your body to shut down, or are you ready to wake it up? When a man begins to lose connection with his body, it doesn't happen all at once. It starts in small, quiet ways: missed signals, flat responses, that sense of distance that grows between who you were and what you now feel. You don't notice the shift at first, you just start going through the motions. A quick moment alone, same hand, same grip, same routine, you're not thinking about it and you're certainly not feeling much from it, but deep inside, your body is paying attention. You don't see it coming, but you feel it slipping. That's what I hear again and again from men who walk into my office after 60. They lower their voices and say things like, "It just doesn't feel the same," or "I have to try harder to get there," or worse, "It's like my body forgot how to respond." And the truth is, they're not broken, they're just stuck in a pattern their nervous system has learned too well. The brain is a fast learner. Every time you engage in solo touch quickly, with tension, distraction, or shame, you're training your brain to respond to that specific experience and only that experience. Over time, it becomes harder to feel anything different. Real intimacy feels foreign, slowness feels wrong, connection feels unreachable. That's because mindless touch isn't harmless, it's habit-forming in all the wrong ways. Your body becomes conditioned to expect a narrow, mechanical type of stimulation, while everything else, the warmth of skin, the pace of breath, the presence of another, starts to feel distant or even ineffective. And it doesn't stop there. The deeper cost of this unconscious routine isn't just in the bedroom, it's in your identity. Men begin to feel like less than who they once were. They pull away from their partners, avoid affection, and even stop looking at themselves in the mirror. I've had patients tell me, "I don't even recognize myself anymore," not because they lost their ability, but because they lost their connection, and with that, they lost confidence. There's science behind this, too simple but powerful. Dopamine, the brain's reward chemical, is released during arousal. When it's tied to healthy touch, it supports mood, motivation, and even cognitive sharpness. But when tied to rushed or disassociated behavior, it reinforces that same loop of numbness. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change and adapt, means you can retrain this response. But first, you have to become aware of what you've unknowingly taught your body. So let me ask you something honestly. Have you ever felt like your body forgot how to respond, not because of age, but because it was never shown how to stay alive in this chapter of your life? You're not alone, and you're not past saving, but awareness is only the beginning. Because when your nervous system is trained to disconnect, the whole body begins to follow, and what comes next can impact more than your sensitivity. It can touch your health in ways you never expected. When disconnection becomes the new normal, most men don't even realize their bodies are being slowly put into storage. But one system that never fully stops working is the prostate, and what you don't release, it quietly begins to store. What if your silence is slowly turning into inflammation? I remember Harold, 68, soft-spoken, the kind of man who always wore a belt even on weekends. He came in complaining of pressure in his lower abdomen, waking up 5 or 6 times a night to urinate, and a dull ache that wouldn't go away. He thought it was just part of getting older. "It's probably the plumbing wearing down," he said with a shrug. But when I asked him the last time he'd ejaculated, he blinked like I'd asked something inappropriate. "Years ago," he admitted. "After my wife passed, I just figured I was done." That belief is more common than you'd think. Somewhere along the line, many men absorb this quiet rule that after a certain age, they're supposed to stop being sexual. Stop being touched, stop touching themselves, as if masculinity and desire had expiration dates. But here's what I told Harold and what I need to tell you: the prostate doesn't retire just because you do. It keeps producing seminal fluid every single day, and when that fluid isn't released regularly, it doesn't just vanish, it builds up. Slowly, quietly, uncomfortably, what happens next is inflammation, that pressure Harold felt. It was his body sounding the alarm. The prostate, now congested, begins to swell. That swelling can cause not only discomfort but real urinary issues, dribbling, urgency, pain during urination or ejaculation. Many men blame age when the truth is, it's just a backed-up system asking for relief. There's even hard data to back this up. A major U.S. study tracking nearly 30,000 men found that those who ejaculated at least 21 times per month had a significantly lower risk of developing prostate cancer. Why? Because regular release keeps the system moving, clears stagnation, and reduces inflammatory stress. That's not an opinion, that's physiology. And yet, society tells a different story. That a man over 60 should feel ashamed for still wanting pleasure, still needing release. But I want to say this clearly, this act is not dirty, it's not immature, it's not desperate, it is care, plain and simple. Just like stretching your joints, walking to keep your blood flowing, or brushing your teeth to prevent disease, self-touch is a maintenance ritual. Done mindfully, it's not about fantasy, it's about flow, it's about sleep, it's about health. Harold didn't need medication, he didn't need surgery. What he needed was permission. Permission to treat his body like it was still worth listening to. Once he began reconnecting slowly, gently, without shame, his sleep improved. The pelvic tension eased, but more than that, something shifted in his presence. His eyes met mine again, his posture lifted. That's what reconnection looks like, not fireworks but flickers of life returning. So let me ask you directly. Are you avoiding the very thing that could help you feel better tonight? Have you written off your body as past that stage, while it's quietly asking you for attention? Because this isn't just about comfort, it's about prevention. It's about claiming a part of your health no one ever told you to protect. And here's what most men don't realize: when the body stays shut down long enough, it doesn't just swell or ache. It starts recalibrating at the hormonal level, dialing down systems it assumes you no longer need. But when your body starts dialing things down, it's often not just because of neglect, it's because of something deeper. Something quieter, something that's lived in your bones for decades. What you were taught as a boy is quietly hurting you as a man. I've sat across from hundreds of men in my office, men who built homes, led families, survived wars and heartbreaks, yet when I ask about self-touch, their eyes drop. Their shoulders fold inward, the air thickens with a silence not of refusal but of shame. Not once have I heard outright anger. What I see is sadness, confusion, sometimes even guilt. As if the simple act of caring for their own body somehow crossed a line set long ago. It's not their fault, it's what they were taught. Taught that touching themselves was dirty, selfish, weak, that good boys didn't do it and good men outgrew it. And those beliefs didn't vanish when they turned 30 or 40. They just went underground, buried beneath careers, family responsibilities, and Sunday morning silence. But those beliefs didn't disappear. They shaped how a man treats his own body. They shaped whether he reaches for himself when he's alone or turns away because he feels he shouldn't. The cost of that shame isn't just emotional, it's biological. Chronic shame raises cortisol, your body's primary stress hormone. That tension you feel in your neck, that shallow breath, that clenched jaw, it's not just age, it's the long shadow of suppression. Shame tightens muscles. It pulls the body inward. Over time, it disrupts dopamine, the chemical that helps you feel pleasure, and oxytocin, the hormone tied to trust and connection. Without them, sleep worsens, depression creeps in, and even your immune function takes a hit. One of my patients, Warren, told me he hadn't touched himself in over 20 years, not because he didn't want to, but because every time he even considered it, an old voice rose in his head. "That's not who you are anymore," it whispered. But what he didn't see was how his disconnection from that simple act was connected to a deeper disconnection from life itself. He stopped laughing, stopped singing, stopped reaching for anything that once gave him joy. And here's the truth no one says out loud: touching yourself isn't vanity, it's validation. It's your body asking, "Do I still matter to you?" And your answer doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to be present, it needs to be yes. So I ask you now, gently but clearly, what part of you have you been taught to ignore? What old rule is still living inside you long after it stopped serving you? Because what you believe shapes what you allow, and what you allow either nourishes you or starves you. And here's where the spiral deepens, because once shame has silenced a man, it doesn't just stop at his mood. It begins to shift the very hormones that once defined his energy, his confidence, his spark. When shame sets the tone, testosterone quietly follows its lead. And once shame has reshaped the way you relate to your own body, it doesn't just steal your peace, it begins to quietly rewrite your chemistry. If you stop living like a man, your body assumes you're no longer one. I met Frank 2 winters ago, 73, retired firefighter, the kind of man whose handshake still had weight in it. But something about him felt dimmed. He told me he hadn't felt like himself in years, no energy, no drive, waking up already tired. "I'm just getting old, Doc," he said. "The spark's gone, I guess." But when we ran his blood work, the numbers didn't lie. His testosterone was hovering just above clinical deficiency, and yet nothing in his medical chart explained it. No serious illness, no medication that would blunt his hormones. So I asked him one more question: when was the last time you engaged sexually with yourself or anyone else? He gave a dry laugh. "It's been a while." What's the point anymore? That question, what's the point, is the quiet death sentence for so many men. They stop acting like they matter and their body listens, because testosterone doesn't just disappear with age. It declines faster when you stop signaling to your body that you still need it, that you still want to feel, to touch, to connect, not just sexually but energetically, physically, emotionally. Your biology responds to attention. And when attention fades, so does function. Here's what happens inside. The brain's hypothalamus detects sexual activity and stimulation, even so low. It sends a signal to the pituitary gland, which then tells the testes, "We've got a live one, keep producing." That loop stays active as long as the message stays clear, but when weeks turn to months and you stop engaging with your body altogether, the brain adjusts. It turns the dial down. Testosterone production slows. Not because of fate, but because of feedback. When I helped Frank reconnect, not through pills or pressure, but through slow, mindful self-touch, things began to change. Within 2 months, his posture shifted. His voice carried more weight. He told me he started walking more, sleeping deeper, even lifting light weights again. And it wasn't about performance, it was about presence. His body had heard the message, "I still need this, I still care." And it responded accordingly. I've seen this pattern again and again, men who believe they're just getting older when really they're just turning off systems that haven't been called upon in years. The moment they start showing up for their body again with attention, with kindness, something begins to return. And it's not just about sex, it's about how they carry themselves into a room, how they look in the mirror, how they feel in their own skin. So let me ask you directly, what signal is your body receiving today? Retreat or reawakening? Have you unconsciously told it to wind down, or are you willing to remind it that you're still here, still engaged, still a man worth responding to? Because once testosterone takes a step back, the next system in line doesn't wait long to follow, and that next shift can affect more than just how you feel. It can begin to change how you function. And while testosterone may fuel your drive, it's what happens in your blood vessels that determines whether your body can actually respond. Your body doesn't stop needing blood flow just because you stopped noticing it. I once had a patient named Leonard. He was 70 tall, with the sturdy build of someone who'd worked with his hands most of his life. But when he sat down, his presence was quieter than his frame suggested. He hadn't had an erection in over 5 years, not because of a diagnosed medical condition, but simply because, in his words, "I figured I didn't need them anymore." His wife had passed, he wasn't dating, and intimacy had been off the table for so long that he assumed that part of him had naturally shut down. But what Leonard didn't realize was that his body hadn't made that decision alone. It had simply followed his lead. See, an erection isn't just about sex, it's a direct indicator of vascular health. It's your body's way of saying blood is moving, nitric oxide is working, oxygen is reaching where it needs to go. When you stop experiencing erections regularly, even the kind that happen during sleep, your body starts to deprioritize those systems. The smooth muscle inside the penis begins to weaken. Blood vessels lose elasticity. Nitric oxide, which signals the body to allow blood flow, starts to diminish. The tissue hardens, and over time, the system doesn't just go quiet, it atrophies. This is the use it or lose it principle in its most personal form. And the longer that part of your body remains inactive, the harder it becomes, not emotionally but biologically, to bring it back online. And yet, most men don't even know it's happening. They think aging alone is the culprit, when in reality it's disuse and disengagement. Even simple, non-sexual arousal, warmth, memory, gentle self-touch can help preserve this function. Your body doesn't need fireworks, it needs circulation. It needs reminders that this system still matters. And it's not just about the mechanics. When men stop experiencing erections, they often report something deeper, a dullness. Mood slips, memory fades, motivation thins out. It's not just about intimacy, it's about identity. Many of my patients describe it as a quiet erosion of confidence. They don't feel like themselves anymore. Not because someone told them they couldn't be, but because their own body stopped affirming that they were still alive in that way. Here's what I wish more men understood. The act of preserving erectile health is not about being ready for sex. It's about telling your heart, your brain, your blood vessels, I'm still here, I still need this. Because the body listens, and when it hears silence, it assumes it's time to shut things down. So I'll ask you plainly, when was the last time your body got the signal? You still matter, not out of pressure, not out of performance, but out of presence, because there's still time to shift the message. And when you do, you're not just restoring function, you're restoring the conversation between you and the deepest parts of your physiology. But as much as your body may be willing to return to you, there's another challenge hiding just behind the curtain, one that doesn't come from your heart or hormones, but from your brain's exposure to something far more addictive. But even when your body is ready to respond again, when blood is moving and signals are firing, there's one more obstacle that can quietly sabotage your progress. And this one starts not in your heart, but in your mind. What once lit a spark now leaves you numb. Many older men don't turn to pornography out of addiction or impulse. They turn to it out of something deeper, loneliness. It's not about lust. It's about remembering what it felt like to be wanted, to feel connection, even if only for a few minutes. I've had patients in their 60s and 70s tell me they still watch porn not because they're chasing a thrill, but because they miss the feeling of being alive. And I understand that, I really do. But here's the truth we need to face gently but honestly. The kind of pornography most men have access to today isn't the same as what they grew up with. It's not a magazine under the mattress or a soft-focus movie that left room for imagination. It's overstimulation, loud, fast, endless novelty, and the aging brain, already tender from disconnection, isn't built to handle that kind of input without cost. What follows isn't just biological, it's emotional. Many of my patients confide with hesitation, even embarrassment, that they hide their porn habits. They use incognito browsers. They delete histories. Not because they're doing something illegal, but because deep down they feel like they're doing something that no longer belongs to them. I feel ridiculous, one man told me. I'm 68 and I'm still watching this stuff like a teenager. And what I told him is what I'll tell you: the shame is not in the act. The shame is in believing that you're alone in it. This hidden habit becomes a quiet weight. Not heavy enough to collapse you, but just enough to keep you from reaching for something better. And that's where the damage compounds. Because once shame settles in, it doesn't just live in your thoughts, it settles in your body. You begin to believe that you've failed yourself, that you've drifted too far, but you haven't. There is a way out, and it doesn't involve punishment. It involves presence. I often guide my patients through what I call a 30-day sensory reset. No porn, no artificial images, just stillness, just imagination. At first, it's uncomfortable, especially for those who have relied on screens for years, but within weeks, something shifts. Gentle touch begins to register again. Slowness starts to feel right. Imagination returns not as fantasy, but as memory, intimacy, warmth. Even breathing changes. Eyes soften, and perhaps most important, the guilt loosens its grip. Because the nervous system is resilient, it can rewire, but only if you give it space. So let me ask you something you may not have asked yourself in decades. Is your screen giving you connection or keeping you just far enough away from it? Are you hiding what you need out of shame, or can you give yourself permission to want again? Because behind the scrolling, behind the silence, there's something even more dangerous: the belief that you no longer deserve to feel close. That's the real disconnect. And it's one we can begin to heal one quiet reset at a time. And once the screen goes dark and the noise fades, what you're left with isn't stimulation or satisfaction, it's space. Quiet space. And for many older men, that quiet doesn't bring peace. It brings a kind of emptiness that slowly begins to take root. It's not the lack of sex that kills your spirit, it's the lack of touch. I remember Peter well. 76, a retired engineer, neatly dressed, polite, with the kind of posture that looked respectful but exhausted. He came in complaining about forgetfulness, low mood, and just feeling not quite here. When I asked about touch, physical contact of any kind, he paused, then said something I'll never forget. I haven't been touched in over a year. Not a hug, not a pat on the shoulder, nothing. And the way he said it wasn't with sadness, it was with resignation, as if this was just part of the deal. Like he'd quietly accepted a version of life that no longer included being held, being noticed, being felt. But the human body doesn't accept that quietly. When we go too long without touch, something inside begins to shut down. Oxytocin, the hormone tied to trust, warmth, and emotional bonding, starts to shrink. Cortisol, the stress hormone, creeps up. Sleep gets shallow, immune response weakens, memory blurs around the edges, and perhaps most alarming, cognitive decline accelerates. All from a lack of something as simple as human contact. For many men, this slow fade begins where they least expect it, in the bedroom, not because of trauma or rejection, but because of a decision to pull away from their own body. First, they stop reaching for others, then they stop reaching for themselves, not out of choice but out of disconnection. What starts as distance becomes detachment. What was once a body becomes just a shell to move through the day. And when you stop touching, you stop feeling. When you stop feeling, you start disappearing. I've watched this process unfold in real time, not as a dramatic collapse, but as a gradual dimming. One day you're just skipping your evening routine. A week later you're avoiding mirrors. A month later you've stopped imagining anything sensual, pleasurable, or alive. This isn't just physical neglect, it's identity erosion. Because when a man no longer sees himself as someone worth touching, he begins to forget he's still here, still needed, still human, but it doesn't have to end that way. Reconnection is possible. And it starts with something so small it almost feels silly. 10 minutes a day, not 10 minutes of habit or performance, 10 minutes of presence. Touching your own body, not for a result but for a reminder that you are still here. That your skin still feels, that your heart still responds when someone cares enough to show up. Even if that someone is you, this is not about technique, it's not about chasing youth. It's about reclaiming a relationship with yourself that should have never been abandoned. I've seen men begin to return to life from this practice alone. Their voice deepens, their gaze steadies, their posture opens. All because something inside begins to believe again, I matter, I'm not finished. So let me leave you with this question: what if reconnecting to yourself brought you back to life? What if, instead of waiting for someone else to touch your soul awake, you did it first? Because now that you've heard the 7 truths no one ever taught you, it's time we talk about how to begin, step by step. And now that you've heard the 7 truths no one ever told you, there's one more that matters most. It's never too late to return to yourself. You thought it was over, but you were just on pause. I want you to remember this: your body hasn't given up on you. Your biology still responds to attention. You are not too old, too far gone, or too late. What you need isn't shame. What you need is strength. And this isn't about fixing something broken. It's about honoring what's always been yours. Mindless touch can hurt, but conscious touch can heal. Ignoring your erections isn't harmless, it's ignoring your health. Isolation isn't peace. It's slow disappearance. And reconnection doesn't begin with a partner or a prescription. It begins with you, because every time you show up for yourself with presence, your body listens, your nervous system wakes up, your confidence steadies. Your spirit returns. You're not invisible, you're not broken, you're still here, and that matters. If this message resonates, please share it with someone who needs it. Subscribe to Stronger After 60 for real, science-backed tools to help you reclaim your vitality. What part of today's truth spoke to you most? Let me know in the comments below.